friendship that changed the year started at a thing I went to alone. The project I'm most proud of started as a conversation I almost ended early. Everything I'm grateful for has a small decision that is root. Something I said yes to when I could have said not today. Every good thing traced back to a small decision. Every good thing built from something I almost didn't do. Show up, say yes, make the call, built from something. Every good thing starts somewhere small. Show up, say yes. I've been doing this exercise of tracing good things back to their origins. The thing that made the thing possible, that made the other thing possible. Tracing good things back to their origins. I find a small decision, the one that felt insignificant, that made the other thing made it. Think about how many small decisions. I find a small decision, the one that felt insignificant, that made the other thing made it. Think about how many small decisions. I find a small decision, the one that felt insignificant, that made the other thing made it. Think about how many small decisions. I find a small decision, the one that felt insignificant, that made the other thing made it. Think about how many small decisions. I find a small decision, the one that felt insignificant, that made the other thing made it. Think about how many small decisions. I find a small decision, the one that felt insignificant, that made the other thing made it. Stop gripping, free falling, finally, free falling into whatever this becomes. Finally, not reckless, deliberate, choosing to trust whatever this becomes. Is the bravest version of free falling into the trip that had no itinerary. Free falling into the conversation that had no agenda. Free falling into spring after a year of keeping things tight. Let it come, let it land. Free falling into whatever's good. Free falling is counterintuitive. Every instinct says hold on tight. Every voice says plan it out. Every habit says control the variables. But some things only happen in the fall. Some things only show up when you're airborne. The view, the clarity, the feeling, the speed, none of that is available on the ground. Free falling as a practice of releasing what you've been white knuckling, of trusting that the ground is there and that you know how to land. Free falling, finally, free falling into whatever this becomes. Not reckless, deliberate, choosing to trust the landing. Free falling is the bravest version of forward.
Ini udah kelihatan edit bro.
Not where I'm gonna be, but way past where I started. The gap is the whole story, and I don't tell it enough. Progress doesn't post itself, doesn't make a sound most days. Just shows up in the difference between who you are and who you were. Still on the way up, not at the top, but climbing. Still on the way up, and the view from here is fine. Every floor I pass is somewhere I used to be. Every level up was built on the one below. Still on the way up, and I'm not stopping. Yeah.
Oke.
Had the conversation I've been avoiding. Came out better than the fear said it would. Fear lies about the difficulty ratio. The thing is almost never as bad as the build-up. Putting the work on the thing that mattered instead of the comfortable version of work. You know the kind, staying busy without moving. I've been doing the other kind lately. Let me be clear about something. I'm not doing this for the recognition. I'm doing it because the version of me that doesn't is a version I can't afford anymore. Every morning I show up as a vote for the person I'm trying to become. Not every day is gonna feel like progress, but every day counts whether it feels like it or not. Still on the way up means I'm still going. Means I haven't called it done before it's done. Means the ceiling I thought I had turned out to be a floor. Look at the distance, look at the climb. Still on the way up, and I'm right on time. Means I haven't called it done before it's done. Means the ceiling I thought I had turned out to be, and the view from here is fine. Every floor I pass is somewhere I used to be. Every level up was built on the one below. Still on the way up, and I'm not stopping. Wide awake, and I mean all the way. Not the half-present version from last year. Actually here, actually paying attention, actually in it. Something shifted somewhere in the last few months. Can't point to the exact moment. Just noticed one day that I was awake in a way I hadn't been for a while. Wide awake all the way, and wide awake, done with going through the motions, yeah. Present for the whole thing, not just the parts that are easy. Wide awake, this is what it's supposed to feel like. Yeah. Wide awake to what I actually want instead of what I thought I should want. Two different lists turned out much better. Second one, wide awake to the people who fill the room versus the ones who drain it. Clear on that now in a way that I couldn't have been before. I spent some time on autopilot, moving through days without really being in them. Showing up but not arriving, present in body somewhere else entirely. Wide awake is the opposite of that. It's choosing a beat where you actually are. It's tasting the coffee instead of consuming it. It's hearing the person instead of waiting to talk. Wide awake costs something. You can't sleepwalk through the hard parts, but you also can't sleepwalk through the good parts. And the good parts are worth being awake for. Wide awake all the way, wide awake, done with going through the motions, yeah. Present for the whole thing, not just the parts that are easy. Wide awake, this is what it's supposed to feel. Yeah. 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 Same block I've been walking for 3 years. Hit different this morning, don't know why. Noticed the mural I've been walking past. Actually stopped and looked at the whole thing. Bakery I've been meaning to try. Finally went in, got the thing in the window. Woman behind the counter remembered my face from the last time I stood outside and didn't come in. Same block, different eyes. Everything's here, I just wasn't looking. Same block, different eyes. New beginning doesn't always mean new location. Sometimes you just change the angle, sometimes you just slow it down. Same block, but different eyes, and suddenly you found your town. Yeah, guy who runs the newsstand knows 3 languages. Found that out waiting for my change. He learned them in 3 different countries. Ended up here, says he likes the winners. Barbershop with the same 4 guys in the window. Every time I walk past, same 4 guys. I thought I knew what that meant before. Now I think it means they chose each other. I spent a lot of time planning to leave, convinced somewhere else had what I needed. Booked flights in my head about 100 times. Left every version of the city in my imagination. But something shifted somewhere in the last year. Started walking slower and paying attention. Started treating where I am like somewhere worth knowing, instead of somewhere to escape when the time comes. And it turns out this block has been doing its thing, whether I was clocked in or not. The mural, the bakery, the newsstand guy, all of it waiting for me to notice. Same block, different eyes. Everything's here, I just wasn't looking. Same block, different eyes. New beginning doesn't always mean new location. Sometimes you just change the angle, sometimes you just slow it down. Same block, different eyes. Suddenly you found your town. Open window season, the best 2 weeks of the whole year, when you can have the windows open without it being a commitment. That specific air quality, spring and just warm enough. City smell without the summer edge, everything arriving at once. Open window season, everything coming in. Open window season, all of it welcome. The sound of the street, the temperature of almost right. Open window season, I've been waiting all year. Yeah. Someone's music from 3 floors up, somebody's conversation from the sidewalk. The rhythm of the city, when you're actually part of it. Started a thing I've been waiting to start. Open window season does that. The fresh air version of yourself has more courage than the closed window version. Open window season, everything coming in. Open window season, all of it welcome. The sound of the street, the temperature of almost right. Open window season, I've been waiting all year. Open window season is about more than weather. It's the annual permission to be open, to let things in that you've been filtering, to start the things you've been waiting on. Something about the open window makes the apartment feel larger, makes the options feel wider, makes the version of yourself that does things feel closer. I've been making a list since February of things to do when the windows could open. Open window season, the list is getting done. Yeah. Yeah. Ground floor or something I can't fully see yet. That's always how it starts. Before the thing has a shape, just the feeling that it should exist. The early days have their own energy, rough and unfinished and full of possibility. I like being here before it's figured out, when everything is still in play. Ground floor, in it from the beginning. Ground floor, that's the only way I know. Everybody wants to show up when it's it's done, I wanna be here when it's still becoming. Ground floor is where the real work is. Ground floor of this version of myself, the one that started about a year ago.
Ini masih mau mengejar supaya bisa tayang besok ini bang. Pagi jam 9, jam 7 udah harus terkirim.
Looking back at where we started is one of my favorite views. I missed the ground floor on things I cared about. Showed up late after the shape was set and it was still good but different. Like reading a book after someone told you the ending. So now I pay attention to beginnings, to the thing that's just a feeling before it has a name. I want in at the ground floor, because that's where the story actually starts. Before the polished version, before the part anyone else sees, and the messy beginning when anything is still possible. In it from the beginning, ground floor, because that's where the story actually starts. Everybody wants to show up when it's done. I wanna be here when anyone else sees, and the messy beginning when anything is still possible. Blue sky errand, the kind where you don't mind the drive. Windows down before I even left the block. Spring doing everything it promised. Listed 3 things, took twice as long as necessary, because the day was too good to rush through any of it. Blue sky errand, everything taking longer in the best way. Blue sky errand, nowhere to be but everywhere. The long route because the short one doesn't have this view. I prefer. Parked 2 blocks further than I needed for the extra 2 blocks of the day. Bought something from a card I never seen before, just because it was there. That's the blue sky errand energy. Opportunistic, unhurried. Yes to things that don't need a reason, just because the day is good and so are you. Everything taking longer in the best way. Blue sky errand, nowhere to be but everywhere. The long route because the short one doesn't have this view. Blue sky errand, this is the version I prefer. Blue sky errand is a feeling, not a task. The list is the excuse. The real thing is being outside on a day that deserves being outside. I've been saying yes to more of these, the unnecessary detours, the extra blocks, the card I never seen, the 2 blocks further. Grateful for the blue sky and the errand, for the windows down and the long route, for the spring doing everything it promised, for the day that was good enough to be in. Blue sky errand, windows down, every time. All clear, that's what the doctor said. That's what the test came back. That's what the call said on a Tuesday afternoon. That's the best Tuesday I've had in a while. Walked out into the same street, looked completely different. All clear changes the color of everything, at least for the rest of the day. All clear, breathe, just breathe. All clear, the thing you were afraid of isn't here. Grateful in a way that's hard to explain to people who haven't been waiting for the answer. All clear is the best two words. Yeah, all clear on the situation I've been managing. Reached a resolution, closed the file, the weight I've normalized, gone. And I noticed the absence. All clear on the relationship that needed an honest conversation. Had it, came through it, both of us better. All clear hits different when you've been uncertain, when you've been sitting with the unknown, when the answer could have gone either way, and it went the good way. I don't take all clears for granted anymore. I used to not even register them. They were just the absence of bad news. Now I know that their own kind of good news. Celebrate the all clear. Let yourself feel the relief. You earned the right to that exhale. With all the weeks you spent holding your breath. All clear, breathe, just breathe. All clear. The thing you were afraid of isn't here. Grateful in a way that's hard to explain to people who haven't been waiting for the answer. All clear is the best two words. All clear. First light and I'm already moving. Not because the schedule demands it, because something shifted. And the morning feels like mine to use. Chapter closed in the best possible way. Not by drama, but by quiet completion. Woke up on the other side of it, and the other side looks exactly like this. First light forward, this is the start of the new part. First light forward, everything that was in the way cleared. Not a reset, a continuation. Better equipped than before. First light forward, that's the direction. Yeah, made a list this morning of what I'm taking with me from the version that just ended. Kept the clarity, kept the people, kept everything, the hard part built. Yeah, left the weight that didn't serve. Left the stories that were keeping me stuck. Forward is lighter than backward, I know that now. First light forward, this is the start of the new part. First light forward, everything that was in the way clear. Not a reset, a continuation. Better equipped than before. First light forward, that's the direction. Yeah. Let me be specific about what forward looks like. Not the abstract version. The version with Monday morning energy, with coffee and a clear list. Forward looks like showing up with everything the last chapter taught me, and doing the work with better tools than I had before. First light forward is a commitment to the version of myself that's becoming. Not the one that was, but the one that's arriving. First light forward. Here we go. more minutes in the city before I leave. Walking fast to get one more block in. Don't know why 5 more minutes matters, but it always does. Yeah. The coffee from the place on the corner of departure, hot in my hand on the way to the train. Last look at the building that became familiar, noting everything I'll describe when I get back. 5 more minutes, always need just a little more. 5 more minutes, the city has a hold on me. Every departure is a small lesson in what you actually love about a place. 5 more minutes tells you everything. Had that feeling the whole trip of being exactly where I was, present in a way that travel unlocks when you stop trying to see everything. Just walked around and let it happen. Eat where the line is longest, stay until closing. Missed the first train on purpose. 5 more minutes, always need just a little more. 5 more minutes, the city has a hold on me. Every departure is a small lesson in what you actually love about a place. 5 more minutes tells you everything. Travel is the practice of deliberate presence, because the clock is visible. You know you're leaving, so you look harder while you're there. I wanna bring that home with me. The 5 more minutes energy applied to the ordinary Tuesday that has no departure date. Every day is something worth the 5 more minutes. The trick is remembering it doesn't have a train to catch, so you have to choose the urgency, have to decide it matters. 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes. Always, every place. Every place. Found a 20 in a jacket I forgot about. That specific kind of joy doesn't have a name. Went and got the good coffee instead of the regular. Spent it like it wasn't even mine to lose. That's the feeling I've been chasing lately. Not the 20 that part's just a setup. The feeling that something good showed up unexpected, and you let yourself enjoy it without the guilt. Found money, feeling like you already had enough. Found money, feeling when life throws you some unexpected love. Doesn't have to be big, doesn't have to be planned. Found money, feeling it's just life extending a hand. Got a call back I stopped expecting. Met someone who knew someone I needed to know. Found a parking spot right in front, first try. Some days the universe is just showing off. Best table at the restaurant, no reservation. Song I love comes on right when I need it. These things don't cancel out the hard days, but they show up when it counts. I keep a running tab of the small wins, not in the app, just somewhere in the back of my head. A place I go when the week is grinding me down, and I need proof that things are generally decent. The found money feeling is a mindset shift, starting to look for what's going right instead of building a case for everything wrong, which is easy and available and never helps. Gratitude sounds like a poster in a waiting room, but I've been doing it and I'm telling you it works. Not because it changes the situation, but because it changes what you're looking at. Found money, feeling like you already had enough. Found money, feeling when life throws you some unexpected love. Doesn't have to be big, doesn't have to be planned. Found money, feeling it's just life extending a hand. keep showing up. That's the whole instruction. When the motivation isn't there, the discipline has to be. Showed up to the thing I didn't feel like doing. Felt like the wrong version of myself the whole time. Did it anyway. The wrong version still counts. Keep showing up. The feeling catches up eventually. Keep showing up. That's the only move I know. Not every day will feel like progress. Some days just keeping the streak is the win. Keep showing up. Stay in it. Yeah. Had a mentor who said the work protects you. Meant that showing up gives you somewhere to put things. The discipline of the practice holds when nothing else does. I didn't understand it fully then. Understand it now from the inside. The work is anchor. The showing up as the thing that holds. Keep showing up. The feeling catches up eventually. Keep showing up. That's the only move I know. Not every day will feel like progress. Some days just keeping the streak is the win. Keep showing up. Stay in it. Let me talk about the invisible work. The days that look like nothing from outside, but are holding the whole structure up. The maintenance days, the showing up days. Progress is not evenly distributed. You get a lot from a few key days, but you only get those days by showing up through all the other ones. Keep showing up is the meta instruction that makes all the specific instructions possible. You can't do anything if you're not there to do it. Keep showing up. Every day, stay in it. River walk on a Saturday, they had no plan. Just followed the path wherever it went. Found a bench nobody was using. Sat there for 30 minutes watching the water. Couple of kayakers working upstream. Kid feeding ducks with scientific concentration. Old man reading something physical. Actual pages taking this time. River walk, everything moving and nothing urgent. River walk, the water knows something I'm still learning. Just keep going around what you can't move through. River walk, that's the whole philosophy. Yeah. Had a conversation I've been putting off. Found the words somewhere on the second mile. The walking helped the way walking always does. Something about movement and honesty. Called when I got back to the car. Said the thing I've been carrying. It landed the way honest things usually do. Differently than the version I rehearsed, but better. River walk, everything moving and nothing urgent. River walk, the water knows something I'm still learning. Just keep going around what you can't move through. River walk, that's the whole philosophy. Yeah, the river doesn't deliberate, it just moves in the direction of the grade. I've been trying to apply that. More movement, less deliberation. Yeah, not reckless, just less precious about the direction. Trust that moving forward is generally better than staying still. Grateful for the walk, for the bench and the ducks and the kayakers. For the conversation that needed the walking. For the river that didn't care. Either way, keep moving. The river knows, just go. yeah. Moved into the new place on a Saturday in April. First night on the floor because the bed hadn't arrived. Ordered in and sat in the empty living room. Listen to the building introduce itself. Every new place has its sounds. The pipes, the neighbors, this specific creek. Getting to know them is how it starts. Becoming a regular in your own rooms. Something like home. Not all the way there yet, but close. Something like home. Building it from whatever I brought. The things I carried here and the things I find here. Something like home is already this. Week 3 and I know the corner store hours. Week 4 and the neighbor waved back unprompted. Week 6 and I stopped consulting the map. The neighborhood found its shape in my head. Got a plant for the windowsill. First thing I bought that wasn't functional is doing well, which feels like a good sign. Living things are a form of commitment. Something like home. Not all the way there yet, but close. Something like home.